Today, man, I look like my nose is starting to come out in 3D. Today is May 18th. I think I recorded my diary when I re-recorded it because my battery was going dead with my laptop. I think I re-recorded it saying May 17th, but it was May 18th. That was the one with the last soup. Here, I'll show you. This will be, by the way, lessons in critical thinking. What's floating there is not the garlic. It's the the horseradish mayo. I've been urinating a lot today, getting rid of those um, garlic from China poisons, but also kind of fighting off stuff, because it was a cold night for everybody here, and just doing a cure at the same time, taking a lot of spices that help clean out stuff. Anyways, the neighbors behind me, the guys with the fourth motorcycle, but nobody offered. I'm sure they have a spare helmet too. They have each their own gear. Eh? It's all set up. Last night, I think they had either wives or girlfriends. So the tone changed. It was a bit more testosterone macho, but still a lot nicer than most, and respectful, and not that loud. I did hear a bottle of wine open, so that makes things a bit more juvenile in the tones and the conversations and the behaviors. They become less considerate with any kind of drugs. You know who our drug pushers are now, right? And by the way, how did Hitler enslave his soldiers? Well, got things to the point that they were scared for their lives, but also, hey, you want the soldiers to eat? They go there, they fight this, and then we'll ship the food. And it's a little bit the way it is here now, right? It's people are afraid to go against authority a little bit, even though they think it's wrong, and they don't want to get too philosophical about it. They talk a little bit about it, but they don't do anything about it. So it's the same thing, right? It's de-escalating societies of people primates. Anyways, these guys, oh man, not last night, but even the night before when I was starting my very little food left, few days, is, oh man, it smelled good what they were cooking, the meat, eh? And in the old days, what made us kind of human, because there was wanderers, right, who had good stories and things to teach, and then there was the ones who stayed, maybe got more into agriculture and farming. And the wanderers, I think, they needed to be more trustworthy to survive, because even villages could communicate between each other, and the reputation wouldn't be very good. But they were learning. They were learning about others and teaching it without the others having to travel. And in a way, I'm a wanderer, but I also have more to teach than the norm. And by the way, if you get a PhD in education, doesn't mean you have things to teach. That's very different, right? Doesn't mean you have particular unique wisdoms to pass on. If you get like 10 PhDs in education or things like that. I'm looking at a bird walk by. Birds are coming closer and closer to me, and I kind of acknowledge them, and they're doing their thing, and they know it's okay to come close to me, and so they stick to their routines. Okay, I'm going to look at this territory, then this territory, and they're walking around. So critical thinking is, I just wanted to let you guys know that when you have your, zombie movies and TV shows, it seems extreme. It seems like, oh my God, what if this was real? But the thing is what's coming is worse. Because your zombie movies and TV shows are still fairly predictable, in the sense that, how do you know somebody's a zombie and that wants to hurt you? Well, they're running after you. They look a particular way that's it's not like vampires at night in a bar, in a dance, in a disco, and you don't know the difference. It's not the same. So in a way, you're kind of wishful thinking that that's what's coming, that, your neighbors that you've known for years aren't going to be in a situation that becomes extreme, that they try something and they think, I need it to feed my kids. And you didn't expect it, right? You don't expect these behaviors, these zombies. They're not like trying to bite your arm, right? It's not that obvious, so you're not going to be that lucky. So even these guys behind me here, who are, I would say, above average, but of course the average is still subhuman. They're above average when it comes to, and I would agree with them if they say, well, we're accomplished men, or we're good men, or we succeeded as at becoming men. And of course, well, I have a different definition than them, but I would agree with theirs that they're above average. Well, even them, right? When I saw the issue they had with the fire the other day, and how their only thing is to throw it on the ground at the last minute, and to kind of ask me first, hey, what do you think? It's like, guys, I would tell you, don't let it get that far, because you could have lost a lot more than your barbecue going on the ground, which is still okay, but I don't think they're going to exchange it and find out more answers about what's going wrong, right? It's going to continue to de-escalate. But they could have lost that shelter tent roof and everything in it, maybe, right? And maybe the forest, because it hadn't rained yet when that happened. It had been a few days in a row of dryness. So when it comes to the zombie apocalypse coming, not only are you not going to know who is about to harm you, people you've known for a long time, the 9 out of 10 nice people in society that you are, but it's also going to be that when things become extreme, you won't have the quick response, the ability to process a priority response and problem solving in a confident way, right? Because you live a life common, which is kind of fitting into the norm, and it's not really, there's very rarely emergencies. But even people that work in emergencies, let's say police officers or ambulance or firefighters, is they only apply that to their particular profession. It's not going to be understanding systems of what happens when your collapses and your brains that are already barely functioning start to kind of get even worse. And it's going to be exponential, right? In the zombie movies, exponential could be some at the end, there's like a large number of them or something like that. But in your upcoming collapse of Proto-Civilization, it's going to be that what you thought was normal behavior or things to expect from people that dress a certain way or act a certain way or in certain positions is going to be very different. So that's how it's going to suddenly be. We can't count on them being like this like we could before, even if they're in this role still and have this equipment like a gun and bulletproof vest and a police car. And we can't count on them that much anymore, and we can't. And then your paranoias are going to get worse, because you have a lot of insecurities as a species, and you kind of try to hide them as much as possible, but eventually, even you will have to admit it's compromising your ability to think clearly and rationally, when more and more of the illusion of who you are and what your societies are like breaks down at a faster and faster rate. So it's sad. Like, I'm not worried about those times, and those times will be where I will be pushed up in leadership roles. And I can't be saying I would have liked to teach you the skills that I have that now you want to depend on more, but I don't trust you. But I'm going to do what I can to protect myself and your kids. But I'm not going to do. I'm not going to follow the let's say the job description of a leader that you think I have to be, because you'll be wrong about that. I'll be doing the one that I know I have to be, and it's not just about protecting me. It's about protecting a large number of people in a way that I don't burn out, that I don't compromise my own safety, that I'm there to continue to be useful to others. And again, when I want to teach these skill sets, as I'm role modeling them to others, and you guys are not wanting to, because you kind of give up on saving yourselves even more at that point, is I'm going to move on, right? I'm going to move on. It'll be sad. But I'm used to crying, leaving people that I know need me, and then suddenly think there was something wrong with me for leaving when, well, first of all, they weren't even able to express their appreciation of me, but they are not even able to express their disdain, because they do it behind closed doors later on. So again, when I left, it was the right choice because of what came before, the time of the decision, and what comes after. It's the proof that it was good for me to leave your community, because I can't be burning out when there's always going to be more and more of you to help as your proto-civilization continues to collapse. And even the nicer of the nice out of 10 people in society are ones that you are doubtful about. And of course, the drugs are going to make you more and more paranoid, and the news is going to make you more and more paranoid, because it's not going to be clear what's happening.